Hey folks, the snow is still melting here, and today I have another short video for you. I'm standing here by my fruit bushes propagation area, and I wanted to show you a small and interesting detail which you can keep in mind for your propagation effort. So down here I have two plants in very close proximity. Those are two Juneberry plants. Amelanchier aunifolia, I think was that pair. It's not a selected variety, it's just as they call it, a wild plant, or one which is not grafted with any specific selected variety, and I intend to use those as rootstock for grafting some experimental varieties. And next to them I had two more Amelanchier or Juneberry plants planted here, which I dug out and moved away last autumn. And when the space was empty, I planted a honeyberry bush here to propagate. You can see how I have spread the two pieces of the bush around. It's a pile of soil over it here under the snow, so this will become separate plant in 1 year. But when I planted those honeyberry here, with the beginning of the growing season, I noted that some new growth was coming from one of the spots where the Amelanchier was planted before I dug it out and moved it to another place. And during this summer, almost 80 centimeters and two shoots of the same root came out and grew, and they almost reached the height of the other two plants which I have here. So basically the plants which I haven't moved grew around 40 centimeters, and the plants which I moved, and I have obviously left a piece of the root intact, so it regrew from the root. It grew double that amount, which signifies two important points. The first one is that if you leave some of the root when moving Juneberry plants, you have a chance of getting a new plant for free. Basically, it's like a root division, but not done on purpose. And the other one is that if the plant reacts so well to basically trimming to the ground, because that's the essence of what I have done, I have removed the whole plant besides the root which was on the ground. And if the plant reacts so well and grows so vigorously from a small piece of root which left in the ground, that means that the plant will do very well in hedging situations, which I already know from online photos and some videos, but I was not sure it would work the same way here. So for this year I'll probably be digging this out as well, because it will interfere with the honeyberry, and I might do that in spring after the coldest temperatures have passed, and just move it to another location where I am trying to start my Juneberry hedge along the fence line. And the other thing related to hedges and plant propagation which I wanted to share with you today is this plant here. It's a golden currant, Rubus aureum. It's called golden not because the fruit are golden, but because the flowers are very nice tubular looking bright yellow flowers. So this plant here is my next experimental candidate for hedging, because it has a very upright growing habit. You can compare it to the regular black currant here. You can see, even though I have trimmed that extensively during the years, you can see how much more sideways growing that is, much more spreading. And this one here, the golden currant, it grows much more upward and it does not spread so much sideways, so it allows probably planting in very close proximity. You can see here the root suckers it grew during the last 2 years. See how straight and upwards they are, very vertical habitus. So you can have like you can have plants like 10 or 20 centimeters apart growing with no problem. And also it's rather rapidly growing, because the first year which I got this plant, it was just a single stem, this one here, which I trimmed here, and the top part, the cutting, I stuck in the soil over here, and you can see that it not only rooted, it grew to over a meter tall in 2 years, and it now is already sprouting its own root suckers. And then on the second year I took another cutting and stuck that down here next to the first cutting, and it also grew almost a meter tall. It's nicely branched out, but all of the branches are also going upwards, and all those side buds here, they are flower buds. And this year we already had fruit. You can see those, if it focuses, yes, those are the stems on which the fruit grew in the season. It's also a nice edible fruit, reminiscent somewhat of a bilberry or forest blueberry, as we call them here. So it's not only very fast growing, it has a very upright habit. It also flowers beautifully in spring. It has a very nice foliage in summer. It tints in red in autumn when the leaves start to fall. And even in winter, it looks, I'd say, nice enough, even if not really bushy and dense. So I think that it could make a nice, so to say, orderly, upright hedge. And for this spring, I have planned to trim all of those tops, all those 10 or 12 tops, separate each of those, and start maybe 20 or more cuttings. So in a couple of years I'll have enough of a propagated plant to do another experiment or do another short hedge and see how that goes. So that's enough of hedging for today, and I'll see you tomorrow.